Can you guys hear me on YouTube now? I apologize. Carlos called me. I haven't seen what he was saying, but I'm guessing that was it. Can you guys hear me now on YouTube? Sorry about that. Okay. So anyway, so those are the ones we went through yesterday. This isn't the usual stuff that we use to broadcast that we have to do YouTube too. So it's the first time I've done it actually live, so I apologize for that. So anyway, let's take a look at what our gappers are doing this morning. VKTX, we've traded this a few times in the room. I'll go ahead and add these. Oh, and Cron, we'll take a look at that one as well. I know a lot of people traded this. It had been running down recently. On the daily, it's had this drop from the mid-20s down to the high teens. So yesterday, I know a few people took the trade. Nice big sell-off at the open, gave this opportunity, hit this level, 1720-ish, and then just ran back to previous close. So it gave a nice move as well. I'm going to clear these out. All right, let's see what we got for today. We'll go through this, then we'll go through the NASDAQ active and gainers, and then we'll take any suggestions from the room. I already know that Blackberry is out there. I saw some news on it, so I'll go ahead and add that one as well, even though it's not on the gappers. It won't. I don't remember what the ATR on that is, but yeah, 22 cents. So it'll be in play today for sure, but that ATR is going to keep it from hitting our scanners. Thank you, Wesley. All right. Let's see here. This. So VKTX, we've traded this a bit in the past. Pull a daily over here as well. It has these massive days compared to its price. I mean, obviously it's it's a dollar, but $1 on an $8 stock are massive. It's a little bit of a choppy daily. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't know if Carlos has traded it. I know a few people have. I've never had any luck with it. It's got volume, but it looks like it's all coming in right there on that one candle predominantly. 108,000 shares, so there's not really enough volume right now. Keep an eye on it though. AZN. Once again, this looks like, it's got 780,000 shares, but most of the volume is in this one, or a big chunk of this volume is in this one candle. It just needs a little bit steadier volume to really be something to be interested in. How did I miss MU? MU gapping up 2%, 194,000 shares. So it's got good volume. It's pretty steady. Not the prettiest pre-market action, but as we discuss all the time when we look at MU in the pre-market, it tends to be a little funky, especially this early by 9 o'clock Eastern. Maybe it will. I've got too many levels on here. We'll create some levels in a little bit, but right now I do like this daily. I like how it's hanging on to the moving averages right here. It's bounced off this up here. It's forming a wedge on the daily between these two. So we'll see what will happen. Semiconductors have been on a tear recently since the end of last year. Let me see. MU does, Jared. It keeps coming on and off the list. Yeah, it's right there at that 2% mark. And while we're at it, that's a good point. Let's take a look at SPY. So right now, SPY's at 282. It's gapping up for the morning. It's up about 0.5%, which isn't too bad this early pre-market. RH, Restoration Hardware, I believe they reported earnings. So this is something you got to watch out about. You cannot assume that a high-priced stock has a big float, because you can see over here, the float on Restoration Hardware is 19 million shares. You got to really watch out. This thing can move. You can see in pre-market, just it's gone up, 110, 114 range. So I don't know if it'll have any math. You can see on the 15-minute chart here from yesterday, drop from, what is this, 130-ish all the way to 110 in a 15-minute period of time, which if you get caught on the wrong side of that, or that's right at the close, excuse me, that's after the close when they reported. But these massive moves can happen in this because it's a very high-priced, low-float stock. It's on an upgrade. Gotcha. So the float on RH, I've got it on my scanner right here. Sorry for the big writing, but you can see it on the scanner right there. If you don't, when they pop up, you'll see them on our scanners. You can type it in here to get the float. Like that's what I did with Blackberry. If you don't have trade ideas is great, but it's also pricey. So starting out, I understand if you want to keep your costs down, you can always check FinViz. And sometimes it'll be a little bit different just because, float data is updated periodically and they might not have updated data in one place somewhere as fast as another. So those are a few options. And then also we have that special package with DAS, which if you get that, you can use, which I don't know where mine went actually. I don't know if here we go. You pull up fundamental right there, anchor it to your montage, and you can also get the float data there. So that's a nice little perk that we have that DAS gives Barebold traders for free. So there's a few options. All right, let's take a peek at NASDAQ active and gainers, then we'll go back. We'll go back and see if there's anything new popping up. So SEAL, this one, it's a little low price for my trading style, and I believe it's a lower float. Yeah, it's less than 1 million shares, 800,000 share float. The daily chart, you can see there's been some big moves. I know some people in the room have been trading it. So right now, it's got almost 2 million shares traded, following these moving averages nicely. So that'll be something interesting to keep an eye on later. I'm gonna put it down here in the riskier section. It's not something I will trade, but we'll go ahead and see if we can find some levels on it anyway for people that might. APDN. Penny stock under $1, won't trade it. SQQQ. NASDAQ short ETF. InBev, we've traded this one in the past. Pot stock. It's got great volume, 538. It looks like a lot of it was right here in this candle earlier. Daily chart is so-so. It's really choppy right in here, but I believe there was news on this one. So I'll skip that one. No, I'll put this on there for later. We'll keep it down here on the riskier stuff. Just in case. We'll keep an eye and see what it does in a few minutes. QQQ, NASDAQ ETF, AMD we already have. We'll keep an eye on that. AMRS. It's a little bit of a crazy action. It looks like a low float. AMRS, no, looks a little bit like one. That it's a lower price, riskier, so I'll put it down here. No, Andrew's here. Andrew comes in usually about 9:15. Let's see what else we got. Dkim. That's an ugly, choppy chart. It's really too low. I'm guessing it's a low float as well. 7 million shares. Eric. This is not great price action going on here yesterday. Not a whole lot this morning. Block trade right there, you can see. So it's traded 250,899 shares this morning. 250,000 of them are in that one block trade right there. So nothing we'll want to look at. And then TVIX is a volatility ETF. SEAL, we already looked at. Box L, I believe we've traded, some have traded this one in the past. It's got kind of a so-so daily. It's gapping up. Let's see what. It's got a 2.4 million shares, so I'll put it down here to look at. I won't trade it. Once again, it doesn't fit my style. And then MYT, not enough volume. AMRS we looked at. PRGS. RKR, ugly chart on the volume. CLPG, gapping up, 110. Volume, this one, what's the story on that? Oh, this is a foreign company. You can likely see it on the daily chart here. Yeah. So, we talk about this every morning, but these ugly gaps in the daily all over the place, you'll see that a ton on foreign stocks. Can be anything to do with foreign, currency exchange rates changing, and then it kind of reprices overnight. They're operating in a different time zone, so news might come out at different times or in the middle of the night, so we tend to avoid those. CREX, enough volume. CADC. CADC. It's ugly. VTVT. I know some people have traded this in the past. That's a horrendous wiki daily chart. And no volume this morning. So what do you guys have? I know Lyft IPOs today. Merengue has pointed that out. Yes, that is the big news on the day. It should be interesting. Special issues. Emily in the chat room's asking about special issues trading an IPO like Lyft. I don't trade IPOs myself. Peter does a little bit in here, and a couple other guys do. They're not shortable. It's really, there are no levels. You have no previous daily levels to work off of, so it's a bit of a crapshoot. A lot of people are very successful with them. It reminds me of the 90s, when the rule of thumb, people just throw money at an IPO and it skyrocket until it didn't. And then, a lot of people lost their money. So I tend to stay away from stocks. Once they've IPO'd, I let them trade for a while, a month, 2 months before I'll even consider it myself. So, all right, what else are we looking at? What else are you guys looking at today? And by the way, that usually happens between 10 and 11. IPOs are a fluid thing. So the other thing with Lyft is it's been, oversubscribed, meaning that more people want to buy into it than they anticipated. The price has gone up pretty substantially from what they originally thought it would come to market at. They pegged it at $72, but that's going to be fluid. That'll change what it starts trading on the open market with later today. So when it opens, it's an interesting process to watch. If you never watched it, I'm sure CNBC will cover the heck out of it today and kind of give you an idea of what it's like when a company does IPO. All right, so with that, let's take a look at what you guys are looking at in YouTube and in the room. I don't know, that must have been somebody saying something. What else do we have here? This is March 29th. When that was created, they must have put the wrong deal on there. Sorry about that. Boeing. As we all know, Boeing has been in the news recently. It's been tough to trade. That first day, there was great news with pretty steady price action right here. But since then, it's just, that first, second day it was okay, and it's given a couple of opportunities when news is broken. But there's also been times when it's just chopped back and forth. It's got a big spread. It's higher priced than a lot of people are comfortable trading. So I've taken a couple very small trades on it, but it's tough. I probably won't keep that on the list. It's only traded 47,000 shares this morning as well, so it's not that much volume really. SGH. What is this? SGH, Smart Global Holdings. Not really enough volume for today yet. Maybe it'll come in later in the day. PRGS. I think we already looked at that, didn't we? Yep. Something we already looked at. I don't think there wasn't enough volume on it. It's gapping up, but this price action just isn't very interesting to keep on the list. KMX, CarMax, I know they reported this morning. I'm going to keep that on my list, even though the volume's light. It's a nicey stock. I'm sure it'll trade heavier today after they reported earnings. Nielsen. That'll be more of a midday kind of, that KMX, so I'm going to drop it down a little bit here. So Nielsen, there's zero volume on it. I know there was news because I read somebody trading this, and I don't think it was in our room. I think I just read an article or something. What else do we have? Anything else? I'll take Nielsen off. Baba. It's got good volume so far. Looks like it was a lot in this block trade right there, though. It's not really enough volume continuously on this chart for it to be that interesting. What else? PSTG. PSTG hasn't done anything pre-market. UWT. That is a leveraged. Yeah, that's a leveraged ETF, so I won't touch that one. What else do we have? Anything? All right. So John's asked me a question. Do I practice putting daily levels by the candle bodies and by the wicks? Daily levels, I generally use the ends of the tips of the wicks for my dailies. Apple, yeah, we'll go through Apple. Apple's, I don't know how it, oh, it's up here. I don't know how it got deleted off my main list here. Well, how did I do that? Trade Apple. Yeah, Ursilia, yes, KMX reported earnings, so it is nicey. It'll probably get volume later today. It doesn't have much. I'm going to keep it on my list to keep it for probably later in the day moves. I'll keep an eye on it at the open. It could, yeah, it could come in later. So, okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some levels of these. We'll look at the normal stuff, too. I got to take off some levels. I've got too many guys. ME's all right. I already did that. AMD. Facebook. Facebook's been trading all right the last couple of days. On the daily, you know, it had this big run up after this gap, and it just kind of held that, churning around these moving averages. So every once in a while it makes some decent moves in times a day. So Ann's asking, what does it mean when it said in that, when I pulled up that leveraged ETF, and I still have it here, so I'll show you. So this velocity shares 3 times long. What is this, crude oil, I think? Yeah. So it's a leveraged ETF. It's designed to move 3 times the amount that the price of oil goes, essentially. Or if it's a financial ETF that does 3 times the amount of a financial index. So they're really not for beginner traders, that's for sure. I don't trade them. I don't see the need to get highly leveraged ETFs. I have more of a conservative, safe style than that, as far as, you know, what I choose to trade. So it's just not something that I personally do. And Andrew doesn't really trade ETFs. Carlos doesn't, you know. Brian does some. So, all right, let's see here. So let's start with VKTX on the daily. I'm going to remove all these lines so we can just go through the process. Not the prettiest daily, frankly, but let's see if we can find some stuff here. It's gapping up 6%. It still doesn't have a ton of volume. I'm going to take this off my list. It's just not. If something changes on it, it's on our gappers. We'll see. AZN, it's a NYSE stock. It probably done. It's foreign. Isn't AstraZeneca foreign? 99% sure. Yeah, UK. So I'm going to take that off as well. MU, here we go, our good buddy. So MU, we've got a couple of levels sitting here, previous day high and low. Also these moving averages, I think that'll be pretty substantial right here, this moving average, and potentially this one. So I'll go ahead and mark those, and let's see if we can find anything else that's right here in this range. If it breaks this moving average, previous day close, for instance, if SPY goes red, that could be an interesting area right there itself. And then, you know, that's a long way away. The chance of it getting there is never going to happen, but we'll see. And then we'll get somewhere in here. So you never know. It's had some big days that it ran here recently, so we'll see what it'll do. Restoration Hardware. I will not touch this just because, like I said, the price of it combined with it only being a 19 million share float can really cause some erratic moves, but I'll draw some levels on it just for fun. So there's obviously some support down here for it. Somebody asked a minute about bodies and wicks. So in this particular case, it's pretty clear that this bottom of this wick matches up with this body, which had 0 wick and that tiny wick. So that's how I would put that one. We've got a similar area here with those two. And then let's see what else we got in here. This is last fall. Go ahead and drop one there. And that looks like one to me too, which also coincides with those moving averages. Oh, thanks, man. EJ. Yes, Howie on YouTube, we already have, or I had Lulu. I deleted it from yesterday, but we'll add it there because it'll likely move again. It'll be interesting to see how much follow-through Lulu has. Let me go back here. I'm going to look and see if I can get anything on the 5-minute for this Restoration Hardware. We'll go ahead and that's pretty close, low of pre-market. High of pre-market, we'll add that. MU, same deal. So that's a pretty clear resistance level, 40-20. Whoops. Pretty clear resistance level, 40-20. I hate it when it does that. 40.25, that's the high of pre-market and some pretty decent resistance. I already have a level right here. So we'll skip that. Talked about Blackberry earlier. Didn't hit our gappers because of the ATR is only 23 cents or something. It's too small, so we'll go ahead and find some daily levels here. Looks like we've got a good area here to select from. So that's pretty substantial. 1047 if it can run. Down here to the downside. It's up 11% at 988. Let's see what else, if anything, we have. There's an area right in there. Yep, I'm going to get to Lulu in just a second. So these levels are pretty much useless on Lulu. They're $30 away. We're really not going to have a ton of levels on Lulu since it's sitting at an all-time high, and you know, we'll take here in case it starts to break down. I don't see it doing that in a huge way. But we'll take those two. There's not a whole lot between it. This thing can really run, as we know. So then we'll go to a 5-minute, see what we can find from yesterday. So obviously previous day close is already there. I like to, now not everybody does because it's already a level. I'll go ahead and put a line on it as well, because that way I know that it really is a pretty substantial, not only was it that, but it you know, that previous day close, it bounced off there real hard yesterday. So that could be a good one. Let's see. And then pre-market, we can mark, we'll mark this pre-market high. But, all right, there's Lulu. Let's go look at CarMax again. CarMax still really no volume, but let's throw on some dailies for it. Looks like these are pretty substantial right in here. And then also I'm going to throw on right here where the 200 moving average is, or I need to move that down just a hair. And that also is going to coincide with higher pre-market, so that's a really interesting level, frankly. And then I'll put this low of pre-market. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can find anything else back here. That's out of the realm, but this is strong right there, so we throw that up. All right, guys. Anything else y'all are seeing? Celgene just popped up. Okay, let's take a look at Celgene. We can add some. I got plenty of room. It's not that crazy of a morning. We've got a little bit of time. So Lulu, and if anybody has anything from YouTube, any other stuff they want to look at, we can take a look at that. What was the news on Celgene? Let's see if we can find it on Benzinga here. So I'll bring that down. Not seeing anything there. Yeah, Celgene. I'm trying to find out what the news is. I don't see anything quite yet. Positive opinions for Revlimid multiple myeloma. All right. Thank you, Peter. Let's definitely add this one. All right, so it's trading, it's popped up. Now it's definitely put this level in play up here. I'll go back, and these coincide really well here. Those are some good distances between them as well. I'm going to take a look at this area. Yeah, this is good. I'll definitely have that on my list. Volume's growing on it. This is really nice price action coming in, so we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Higher pre-market, it's pretty close to that. I'll go ahead and add it anyway. And then right there, what else do we have? BMY. BMY trades tough. It's extremely heavily institutionally traded, so it can be really difficult to actually do anything interesting, but we'll take a look. As you can see, I've got levels on BMY, so I've had it in the past. I've traded it. It's just not my favorite. In case nothing else shows up, I might keep that on there. What else do we have? CLF. No, not enough volume for CLF. All right, and GOL. GOL was on a list yesterday. Take a look at this last one real quick. It's a foreign stock. I can't remember where it is. Brazil. It's got this crazy daily. I'll keep it off. I know that some people traded this and made some money, but it's nothing that I'll keep on, primarily just because it's got such an ugly daily. So anyway, it's time to say farewell to YouTube. Thank you for joining me. Carlos will be back Monday, so thanks for joining. I appreciate it. News on Blackberry. I think it was earnings, but I'm not sure, Joseph. So anyway, you'll have a great day. Trade safe. Once again, just a reminder, if you've been in our room or checked us out, used our forums, if you could leave an honest review on YouTube or on Facebook at sometime on our Facebook page, just an honest review would be much appreciated if you take the little bit of time to do that. And y'all, like I said, trade safe. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.
AMD. Yep. Oh. Oh. Oh.